lot of what we understand as intellectualism in terms of so-called black people is really just really about them trying to be right and trying to make the other one look less intelligent, unfortunately. Because a couple of years ago, there was a pseudo gathering where, at the time, the people who were so-called running the so-called conscious community got together and decided that they wanted to turn it into a more of a mainstream conduit to create cult of personalities around people. So like at the time when I came in, there wasn't too many young dudes doing it. You know what I mean? And it was more of a system where you would be brought in, and then somebody would basically like, okay, well, this is a brother I've been building with, boom, boom, boom. So it wasn't so much of a co-signing thing, more than it was like, it was really about promoting knowledge. And all of that just got supplanted by ego when people felt that other people were getting more liked than other people. And so I was never really one to get involved with stuff like that, because I learned very early that whatever it is that you're good at, people are going to covet, and people are going to strive to do it in a manner where they feel like they're doing it better than you. And unfortunately, that mentality is so ingrained in so-called melanated people, carbonated people's psyche, that they don't even know how to express support for each other outside of that. Because like, instead of saying, like, the average black person, instead of saying, oh, that look nice on you, oh, that's like this, they'll say something like, oh, you think you cute because you got that on, or oh, look at you and your blah blah blah. Like, it's always this like sass with it, you know what I mean? Where other races are more so-called, let me not retract that, there's no such thing as races. Races was an invention, or different races were created to separate people, so I don't want to perpetuate that in my speech. What I would say is that our Asiatic people, both declared and undeclared, have a deep-rooted pathology of self-hatred that I think becomes more apparent when they're confronted with people who look like them that are not caught up in that. And I think that has created such a degree of disconnect with us as people that we almost feel like we can't get together. And I don't feel it's so much of a can't thing. Like I always tell my son, we're Moroccans, not Moroccans. So there's nothing that we can't do. But what I find is most folks feel like what it is they dealing with is like the highest of whatever it is they dealing with, so they don't really need to deal with nothing else. Now, to me, there's a certain degree of confidence, self-confidence in that. That's dope. Yet self-confidence becomes false pride when someone tries to add on to that, and then you feel like you can't get nothing out of it, so you just shut it down. So even though I may have a distinct way that I speak and I feel about certain things, I'm not about striving to make what I feel the predominant thing of what you or anybody else should feel. I'm not with that. Like, you could be a more and I could be a more, and there are things about your view of it that differ from mine. You know what I mean? Just like we're both humans, but just because we're humans doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to look at things the way all of humanity does. We have free will, and we're born with distinct identities. And what happens in this society, this wayward society now, they have tried to basically make a Tower of Babel where everybody got to be the same. Everybody got to speak the same. Everybody got to kind of conform to the same idea. And the thing is, the truest aspect of the human condition is that we will never assimilate into anything that we don't want to do. We will never put ourselves in a position to be dominated by somebody that we know is inferior to us. And when I say we, I'm talking about those of us that still have our soul, those of us that still have integrity, those of us that still believe in character, chivalry, community, you know, the things that are not cool anymore. You know, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality, civility. These things, the modern internet, iPhone 8, iPhone 10 face recognition junkie, they don't care about that. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? These children today, you know, you want to blame. They always want to blame them, but you can't blame somebody for being apathetic to somebody that was never taught by the people that was supposed to teach them how to care for shit. I came up in the tail end of the rap era. My generation, y'all niggas fucked it off, man. Y'all niggas fucked it up. You know why? Because after a while, every record was about how I'm pimping rap, how I'm treating this bitch like a hoe, how I'm just getting my money, how I'm just hitting it and quit it. Like, you didn't not only apply that to the women, you applied that to your actual craft, your actual music, and you expected that to actually raise the vibration of it, to allow some sort of longevity in it, so that way people would remember the legacy of the raps that you made. No, you didn't, because all you niggas sold out, bent over, took the cosign, took the 360 deal, just played yourself, just universally played yourself. And then those of us that didn't was seen as whack because, well, we didn't have the same amount of money. Like, I got people who are like my dear friends who I've known for years. These niggas don't talk to me at all. Not because anything happened, not because anything, there was some sort of discrepancy. The real issue that I know it is because really I'm one of the only dudes that I know that's actually with a black woman. How about that? Most of my peers, these niggas with every other type of chick that they can find but that. Or they be with the black chicks that is black, but they act like they not. Like they'll say that they're, you know, Puerto Rican, or I'm 1/5 this, or I'm a quarter this, or, you know what I mean? All of that half talk. You know, those blacks, these black men that talk about shit like, oh, well, you know, she dope, she half Asian. Anytime you speak to a melanated or Asiatic person, they talk about, oh, I'm into this chick, or I'm into this nigga because he half this, half that. That means that they're not a whole of anything. That means that they are mentally ill. You have to understand that Negrodom is a pathology. White supremacy is not an ideology. It is an illness. It's a mental deficiency. Just like black inferiority is a mental deficiency. Just like gender dysphoria is a mental illness. Just like pedophilia, a mental illness. But the LGBTF, whatever form of sexuality. So now, black folk, but you gotta understand, they've been working on y'all for so long. It started with the black woman. You ever notice that somewhere between the late 70s late 70s to the mid 80s, it was like every black woman had a gay best friend? Remember that? And what did that gay black man do? He always started talking about how you should dress, how you should talk, how you should this and that. And then what happened? They got all of y'all looking like drag queens now. They got all of y'all out here looking like RuPaul. Like, that's dope. They got men actively now pursuing transgender women because they feel that they'll be more feminine with them than women. And you know what black women doing? Getting mad at Michael B. Jordan because he with some white chick. When has this nigga ever been with a black woman? When have these black entertainers ever done anything to promote real so-called black love amongst their own people? James Earl Jones married to a white woman. Then I read this book. I read this article where she was talking about how black people was going back in on her back then about only dealing with white men, and she said, well, when she was in love with Harry Belafonte, said she was in love with this nigga. These niggas was having sex, all types of stuff together, and he would get up and tell her, look, don't take this too seriously because I can only be with a white woman because a black woman can't really do nothing for me and my image and what I'm trying to do. And these are your black leaders. Don't you find it odd that all of the so-called leaders in the black community are somehow involved with entertainment, but white people can have leaders, or other people can have, races can have leaders, and their leaders actually be prone to politics, be prone to engineering? Why is it that your leaders always got to come out with CDs and rap lyrics and shit like that? Why is it always all black leaders come out of entertainment? Because that was engendered through the NAACP, which was founded again by W.B. Du Bois and a couple of Jewish people, and was set up specifically with the help of A. Philip Randolph, J. Edgar Hoover, and W.B. Du Bois, who actually worked together to destroy Marcus Garvey. But the wild thing about it is that when you really get into what Marcus Garvey was talking about, he was talking about that you have to have a nationality to be seen as a real human in the world. But none of these so-called Pan-Africanists, this nigga Marcus Garvey wasn't a Pan-Africanist. That shit didn't even exist then. That was a construct, just like Kwanzaa. That didn't even exist. That was created by a guy named Karenga who worked for the CIA. So what I'm saying is that most of what we understand as upward mobility of so-called black people is not even that, man. It's about moving up to it's like moving up to the middle and staying there. That's where they got so-called blacks. That's where they got anybody functioning from color myopia. To go back to the LGBTF community thing, generating and garnering black women to be into that all really came from Gloria Steinem Paglia. And they were CIA operatives who used to actually participate in the sex rituals that used to go on in Hefner's spot. So you're talking about a CIA sex kitten who was put in a kitty altar ritual to basically come in and get black women to leave their black men behind to join the feminist movement so they could go out and create a system by which it was almost illegal for some instances for black women to have a man in the house. This is what started the whole the whole project. When they talk about the project, what do you think the project was? Why do you think they call it that? The project was breaking up the family, because that was the one thing that stopped so-called Caucasian people from having total dominance of the so-called hemisphere, how they wanted it. So the only obstacle was the black family. So right now, that's why they want you to be in a blended family. They want you to think that the only way you can have a baby of lighter skin is to be with somebody that's lighter than you or Caucasian. They want you to think that being darker skin is bad. Why? If somebody's always telling you how messed up you are, you got to understand the old adage is true. When you point that one finger at me, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers pointed right back at you. So if somebody is constantly always trying to tell you how messed up you are, that means that it's probably the opposite. And they don't want you to understand how much potential you got. It's the pimp game. That's all it is. It's breaking the hoe down to make her feel that she can't have nothing without this pimp. And this pimp right now for this black woman, so-called black woman, who is now turning into the new white man, right, is being able to literally be a whore. Literally do things like go to Dubai, have sex with animals, have sex with little children, have to eat feces and shit off of silver plates, lick and eat a bunch of wild, disgusting Arab people's asses. Literally just eating ass. They flying you over there to just eat all their ass. That's what you're doing. And then you come back here to this country, flossed out, you got your money, you got your fronts, you got your car, you got your house, right? And you flossing, acting like that you actually worked for it. Well, yeah, bitch, you did work. But you didn't do the type of work, you know what I mean, that an engineer would be doing going to Dubai, okay? You wasn't working on no buildings, okay? You wasn't working on trying to free the little jockeys, the little black boy jockeys that they get out there. Do you know that they enslaving little boys in Dubai, right? You homosexuals going out there to do shit where they actually have camel races where they kidnap little boys, little black boys, and then keep them, starve them almost to death to keep them at a certain weight. But do you know what they do for the camels? The camels have diets. The camels are put up in hotels, man. And you going out there to party with these niggas? And they are literally destroying generations of children, beating them to death, slaving them, raping them. All so that way they can run a damn race for a camel. And I'm supposed to feel like these people is my brothers? I'm supposed to feel like people who support that type of bastardization of humanity is somehow worthy of some sort of respect? Because what? They can cash money? $1? Nigga, half of these niggas should have actually sold crack. Should have actually went to the jail or something like that and get some integrity. Get some books. That, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm livid. Because it's not until I'm actually in situations like this and actually talking about it that I actually get so emotionally, because I'm almost so detached. I almost have to detach myself so emotionally from certain things, B. Just to be able to concisely give it to you back like this, so that way you can see how much we tripping. That you can see how far we have fallen from grace, man. It's not about being right. It's not about being wrong. It's about actually standing up for something outside of sex, money, and murder. Because that's all humanity is about now, B. So again, all you sisters that's going over here talking about how I don't deal with no black men, but you ready to just play yourself for every other race, stay with that race that you're doing it with. Don't come back to my people and implant them and poison them with your bullshit. Same thing, black man. Don't be out here. If you want to be gay, if you want to be a transgender, if you want to do whatever you want to do that. But be truthful about it, man. Don't go try to cuckold some straight man. Because that's who all these gay people and these people want. They don't want their own kind. They want the niggas that's actually not gay. That's not into that. They want all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's too much now. It's to the point now where you have raised an entire generation of children that in the next generation, all they're going to know about is twerking, popping pills, drinking lean, going to jail, gang raping, insta thoughts. This is the future. This is what you've created for yourself. So again, my grandmother used to say, don't get mad when the butcher baked the bread. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted the bread baked properly, you should have got a baker. But what's happening, like I said now, to sum it all up, is that the ideology of the average human has been has been downgraded to that of a beast, of an animal. You understand? So in a society like that, the only thing that you're going to be able to do to survive is to establish a society of your own community. Half of the reason why we as a people are in the position we in is because we never had a chance to do nothing by ourselves since 1492, man. Since 1492, you done had somebody's foot in your ass telling you how to live, telling you how to be, telling you what you are, telling everybody else you could start off as a man and become a woman. You could start off as a woman, become a man. Pause it real quick. Thank you. The queen reminded me of something. Yo, so just very intelligent, very cool, all of that. We were building and talking, had a great time until the question of race came up. And, you know, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for them, yo. Because this lady, bless her heart too, because she was not, I don't feel in her heart she was racist. But she was raised a certain way. So in that, she said, yo, they were talking about race or whatever. She was like, oh, well, Prince, because, you know, my name is Prince Charles. She was like, well, Prince Charles, I see you with the, you know, thing on and all that. She said, and I just really didn't know. She said, because, you know, all I know about the history of whatever is what we were taught. And, you know, I mean, you know, Kunta Kinte, he was taken from Africa, and he was the first one brought over on boats. And she really started going in on how Kunta Kinte was a real person, and how roots was basically the end-all be-all to how all black people got here in the country. And there was a moment for me. Now y'all know me. So there was a moment for me that actually made me very happy, because it showed me how far I have come. You understand? She couldn't have said that to certain people. You understand? Certain people, you'd have brought Kunta Kinte up. Roots alone would have just shut the whole combo down. But again, I'm a Moor, so I don't have to feel caught up racially in any of that shit. I can look at it from a bird's eye view. So I'm looking at it for what it really is. And what it really was this poor Caucasian woman who had probably never spoke to no black people, probably never been around like that, gleaned all of what she got from black people, from Roots. Now, the irony in that is that Roots was not even written by Alex Haley. It was written by a Jewish person named Max Fisher, who still get the royalty rights because he got the copyright on it to this day. Look it up. Alex Haley was taken to court and was sued for that. That's why when his estate went down, nobody bought the rights to Roots and all that, because he didn't own it. Because he was another boule stooge that was willing to have his history be mistaken and misrepresented to future generations, just so that way he could sit there and suck off these crackers and the rest of these people. So getting back to the nice little white lady, I said, well, I'm sorry that you were taught that, but that's not really what happened. In actuality, what happened, and you know what I told her? I told her the truth. And I told her so much of the truth, so dispassionately, so accurately, so many footnotes and references, that her partner or her friend or whoever got up and said, he's fucking lying. It just had to walk away, had to leave. You understand? But again, the truth tastes good to a belly full of lies. So the other lady who was talking to Kunta Kinte stuff sat there and listened to the whole thing. So what that showed me, again, brothers and sisters, is that you got a lot of work to do, because these crackers still think that Kunta Kinte is your actual relative. They think that this nigga is a real person still, in 2017 still. You understand? People done been to the moon. Excuse me, to us, it's the year 1438, for those who still follow the old Moorish calendar. For those that follow the Asiatic calendar, I believe it's the year 15,348. For those of you that's found the Gregorian calendar, it's 2017. So in 2018, yeah, that's right, because they just had their fiscal new year. So it's still 2018, and these crackers are still out here thinking that they had the right to own you. And they're not even trying to change what they think, because there's nobody out there that's civilized enough to sit there and put them in their place properly, that's not trying to bring them down at the same time. So again, I'm saying all of this to say, and thank you for taping it. I'm saying all of this to say is, when it comes down to it, you are what you say you are. You are found wanting or deserving based on the work that you put in. And so, because pseudo-black movements that had no basis in any real nationality or real agenda, that was not based on Caucasians participating in it, have found themselves at the beck and call of these people, to the point that you cannot have a society without them. They won't let you. So those of us that are not predicated on Caucasian supremacy or pseudo white people or pseudo black white people, crackers, graham crackers, or anybody, them telling them who they are and what they can do or what they can't do, this is the best time for you to be alive, because this is the time that exists now where you don't necessarily need dollars to set something up. You can use other forms of currency now to actually build up your own communities and segregate them. Segregation, and remember I told you this, segregation, I'm starting to realize, is actually a good thing. It's good to segregate yourself from people who don't have your best interests in mind. It's good to segregate your children from a society now that's going to force them, y'all in California, it's going to force your children now to have to see tapes on gay sex and transgender sex and these type of things as a form of sexual education now. That's going to be mandatory for your children. It's good to segregate yourself from a society of which now the FD of the, what is this organization called? Journal of American Medical Association just came out and proved definitively that vaccines cause autism and other forms of audio immune disorders. But you know what? Niggas are still gonna go get their kids flu shots. You know what? Niggas are still gonna be on the down low because they too ashamed to come out and be what they really are. I can respect somebody who be they self no matter who they are. I can respect a Klansman who can sit there and look me in the face and say that how much he don't like niggas. I can respect a RBG dude to say that regardless to who or what, I don't love no crackers. I can respect that because it means that you're a man. Because how I was raised, that to be a man, you had to stand for something that was against what other people stood for. That's not the era we in now, buddy. Everybody got the same tattoos. Everybody wants to have sex with the same girl. Everybody wants to have the same baby mama. Everybody wants to be paid for by the same dude. So if you are not a person that has any real wherewithal to be an individual, to know that you are a soul having a human experience, then this world gonna trap you up. And in the end, ain't gonna be nothing that me or anybody else can do about it. And at this stage in the game, less is more. So pretty soon, I'm about to phase this thing into my books, my comics, my art, music, get way back more into that, because it seemed like as much as we've been doing and putting in the work out here, I call for certain meetings and call for people to help and do certain things. They don't want to do it. But then I see other people that's doing less that are actually paid by the government. And they're supporting these people all the way. So as opposed to me getting upset and me trying to, get disparaged like a lot of other people get with their own people when they realize that the very same people they striving and have lived and have done things for the past however many years of their life, really in the end, don't give a damn. I'm not going to be that apathetic. I'm going to go back to doing what I've been doing things in the private, helping people get their situation together, whatever. You want to bring me to your town to really make something happen, let's do it. But don't bring me out there if y'all niggas just want to hear somebody talk, man. Because I'm done with all the talking. I'm done with all of the extra, let's all be cool because, we got to work together. No. In my research as a historian, every society that has ever come into existence came into existence not by the whole people, but a core group of the people. And so I'm looking for a core group of people that's really ready to really make it happen. And if you're really ready to make it happen, there's things that we can do. But it starts with the self-determination. It starts with the self-segregation. Are you willing to segregate yourself from anybody and anything that's willing to stop you from getting to your goal? I don't know. Well, if you are, hit me up at houseofl@hotmail.com. Big up to everybody that's been shouting me out on social media. You know what I mean? Thanks for everybody that passes my stuff around Instagram. That's dope, because I do not have no Instagram, no Snapchat, no none of that shit. I'm trying to get all that app shit off my phone. So, love and light to you. Again, peace to the prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Peace to all of the ancestors. I'm going to see y'all in New Year, which is March 22nd.